Hey everyone, it's Pastor Joel. Today's devotion is on Genesis 21 verses 12. It's a conversation that God has with Abraham. And Abraham is really concerned about trusting and what to do with this concern that we're about to read in these verses. It says there, "But God said to Abraham, do not be distressed about the boy and your slave woman, which is Hagar and Ishmael, his son. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you," which is his wife, "because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the slave into a nation as well, because he is your offspring." Basically, Abraham was tongue-tied. He was confused. He was worried. He was grieving because God promised that Abraham would be a father to many nations, and that would be through Isaac, which is his true offspring. But what ended up happening was Sarah and Abraham, when they received that promise, and it didn't come to plan yet, or it didn't come to tuition, they decided that they would follow, or they would try to fulfill God's promise their own way. So they disobeyed God. They didn't trust in his timing. They didn't trust in his plan. And now they're all in this mess, right? Abraham did not want to follow Sarah's advice of, hey, get rid of your son, expel him. Let's bring Isaac to the picture because this is where God is going to bless us, right? And Abraham did not want to give up Ishmael because he considered the son of Hagar something of like a backup plan, right? If something should happen to Isaac, there would always be Ishmael, right? God did not want Abraham to trust in a backup son or in a backup plan. God wanted Abraham to trust in him alone. And so when God gave Abraham, this is a confirmation because he received when the first time, if you read previously, from the first time that Abraham listened to Sarah, he got in trouble and they got into a mess. It involved Hagar, Ishmael, all of these things because they disobeyed and they did not trust God. And so another situation happened where Sarah commented again, but he was like, should I follow? Instead, God spoke to him and confirmed, right? And comforted Abraham during his tough, challenging time. God gave him his will. God gave him his plan. Abraham, instead of following the way of Sarah, he trusted in God and obeyed, not because his wife said so. God wanted Abraham to rely and depend on him again. Abraham was so concerned for his other son, Ishmael, and his livelihood, but look how good, faithful God is. Even when we mess up, he's still faithful. He still blessed Ishmael, his other son, through another person, right? Through Hagar. The problem and challenge we see in this text is when we ask God for a blessing, or when God promises us to bless us, or he gives us a word, we have to trust his timing. We have to trust his ways, his will. Sometimes we're like Sarah, where we go our own way and go outside of God's plan. Denzel Washington said, "Be careful what you ask for, because when you pray for rain, we have to deal with the mud as well," right? And because Sarah and Abraham were so desperate to want a son, to see God's plan fulfilled, they did it their own way instead of trusting in God, and they faced so many consequences and challenges. But God is faithful. Instead of Abraham being so discouraged, and he was concerned for his son Ishmael and Hagar, he decided to obey and listen to the voice of God. The first time he listened, he got himself in trouble. But when Sarah had this new complaint and new idea, Abraham grieved and he decided, what should I do? But instead, he took it to God and obeyed and asked God, what should I do? And God gave him confirmation. God gave him his word, right? And so the point is this: we need to listen and obey what God has to say, to trust in his word and his timing. This is what pleases God, to hear from him, to be patient, to be still and know that he is God, that he is faithful to fulfill what he has promised us. But let's trust and be faithful that he is good and that he works according to his will and his way. Okay, so God bless you. Hold on to that promise. Hold on to the character of God and trust in him.